Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about why I don't use astrology anymore. I haven't for several years actually, since about 2018. And what it has to do with consciousness and time. So when I started studying astrology, I was still a child, and it gave me a sense of control and identity. And I filtered everything that I experienced of the world through astrology. So if I was talking to someone, I was thinking about their natal chart placements. If I knew someone for more than like a week, I would be very uncomfortable if I didn't know what their natal chart was. I would be like, what time are they born? Like, how do I ask this in a way that doesn't sound weird? And eventually I would just be like, I don't care if I sound weird. I'm just gonna ask you, what time were you born? Because I would get like, it would stress me out to not know. And same thing with numerology, by the way. Although that came a bit later for me, my 20s or 30s. So yeah, the reason I just dropped it, like it just didn't even matter to me after, probably about 2018, was that I realized, it just became very obvious to me that it was a stereotype I was using. So much like the way people will talk to someone and think about their race, and it will change their perception and the way they communicate, or their gender, or their culture, or their sexual orientation, it's the same thing. So I was thinking about how somebody was, I don't know, a Pisces with a Sagittarius rising and a Leo moon, and they had a square from their Mercury to their Venus, and their progressed moon was in Virgo. And it would just be like this whole thing that would go through my mind almost without even, like, sometimes I wasn't even conscious of it. And it would take me away from the actual interaction, experiencing someone face to face, because I was in survival mode, low key, like my whole life doing this. And the actual reason that I questioned astrology for myself and threw it out was because I had met someone who I referred to as my twin flame, because I had that experience is just a forced awakening, as someone very smart once said. I think her name was Angela, that I met in a twin flame group, but she was right. It's a very quick awakening. So what happens in a decade of inner work, like self-awareness, happens in like a year if you're on the twin flame journey. So the astrology between me and this person didn't work. And I had never experienced that before, and that's why I threw astrology away. I was like, oh no, it's gotta go. So yeah, but it freed me from a lot. I was able to just experience the world as it was. I was able to also realize that astrology is a step up from linear time because it's cyclical, right? So it's like there's phases. You'll come back to a new moon phase. You'll come back to when Mercury goes direct. You'll have your Saturn return. Everything is cyclical, and that is a higher consciousness level than linear time. But there's a higher consciousness level where you realize time itself is malleable, and you can collapse time, and it's through the present. So this is like that Eckhart Tolle stuff, right? The power of now and all that. It's just traditional, like Zen work. There's plenty of people other than Eckhart Tolle who have written about this and talk about it, but it's all really just about consciousness. And when you are conscious, you're aware of your own thought patterns and the limitations and the boxes you've been putting yourself in your whole life, that you continue to put yourself in because your neural pathways are just set that way. So for example, if you think about race all the time, you just have developed a habit of doing so. It's like a strong pathway in your brain. It's the easy way. But once you become conscious of it, you start to change it. And the same thing with astrology. I just realized I had been doing it and stereotyping everybody I met. And also making excuses for people because their astrology was this way, right? Like this person talks down to me because they have these placements, or this person is a flake because they have these placements. Eventually it just became like, I don't care what their placements are. I don't care. If I don't feel like something is okay, then it's not okay. If I feel like something is a go, it's a go. So that is why I stopped. It's really simple. It's simple, but it wasn't easy. So I had to retrain my brain a little bit, but I don't even know where the planets are now. Like when I'm talking to people, I don't really, sometimes I catch myself thinking about like their moon sign, but the thing that also helped me to break out of it was I noticed that in Vedic astrology, like my chart is way different. And it was during the quarantine, I think, that I actually started looking at astrology memes a lot, and I was getting sucked back in, and I started studying my chart in Vedic, and I was like, oh my God, Vedic makes way more sense. Like, of course I'm a Pisces. Of course I am. I'm not an Aries, I'm a Pisces. And then it just became obvious how arbitrary and ridiculous all of it was. I was like, well, if I can be like one very strong stereotype in one system, and then another subsystem, I'm a completely different stereotype. Maybe I'm whatever I feel like being. Maybe everyone is, you know? And I had already been living that way, but it just became comical to me. So yeah, I would highly recommend you look at other astrology systems. Like if you study Western, try studying Vedic for a while and see how different it is. And maybe you'll start to break those neural pathways that are very strong, because you don't want to be locked into that really. Like you want to have the freedom to start something whenever you want, or if you're going through a certain progressed moon phase, to not let that be a reason to be depressed and survival mode and miserable. Like it's a lie. You don't have to be. You can be what you choose to be now. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because it was a huge revelation to me. And some people do have to get there on their own. So you might not like this video. You might be like, yeah, but astrology is accurate. You know, it's predictable. It is and it isn't, because if you're one thing in one system, but you're another thing in another system, really you're just choosing it, right? There's also like 1,000 different house systems. So there's that, you know, it's very arbitrary when you actually look at it. Just like race isn't really a thing. People get locked into race. And if you study race, most of what the race's stereotypes are were actually fabricated, and they were manufactured by doctors that were funded by the government. If you study this stuff, it actually becomes completely ridiculous. It has nothing to do with genetics. It's like when you study anything that has to do with statistics, there's a statistic to prove anything. Scientific experiments are even subjective, according to the feelings and the mood and the belief systems of the person who is doing the so-called objective scientific experiment. Life is what you make of it. So if you're that powerful, if I'm a creator, why am I going to waste the rest of my human life giving my power away to what the celestial bodies are doing, or what, you know, what a tarot card reader tells me? Don't go to psychics anymore if you can help it. Like, that's really giving your power away. That's what I discovered. It's not worth it. So I hope that this clears some stuff up. I hope it helps you a little bit if you're kind of in that astrology paradigm like I was, and you're kind of getting that feeling like maybe this is a waste of my time. It is. You're much more powerful. Just start listening to Abraham Hicks. It's like an easy way out of that paradigm. It makes you feel good. All right, I love you. Thank you for subscribing. Please like this video so other people can see it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.